Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are doing a plot tour. I have two plots and I'm going to put them both in the same video. I have separated them in the past, but I'm going to put them in the same video because the other plot doesn't have loads on it, so I don't think it really be long enough to make its own video. So I will do them both together. Before I start, I just want to say happy birthday to my uncle, because I know that he watches my videos and it is his birthday today, so happy birthday. And I did want to actually film this earlier on in the week so that it was actually in May, because I know the title says May plot tour, but you know, just never got round to it. And then it was rain, we had quite a bit of rain this week on and off, so I left it, and then it's half term, so obviously doing family stuff, so here we are, beginning of June instead. But I'm still going to call it a May plot tour because not a lot's changed in a couple of days. So I'm going to start at the front of the plot and work my way back and show you what we've got growing. Right, so this is the front, and we have this bed here that was always meant to be like a herby flower bed, but yeah, it's just a bit of whatever bed now. So it's two separate beds. This one has got some herbs. We've got some sage, I've got some sweet rocket, and then I've got some flowers. I've got some self-seeded nigella that's coming up at the back. Oh, there it is there. It's a self-seeded nigella. Then I've got some cosmos that I started from seed and then I've put in here. Then I've got some zinnias. I've got some French marigolds, some Goliath daisies or something like that they're called. So that's all there, and hopefully that will look lovely once it all flowers. And then in this one I've just got a small lavender here. I've got some thyme. I have put some nasturtium seeds. Oh, they're starting to come up all around the edge and along there. He's weeding again. And then in here we've got some patipan. So they were like that when we put them out. They don't seem to have grown any more since putting them in the ground, but hopefully with all this sun now they will grow and we'll have some nice sized patipans in a couple of weeks. I've also got some calendula seeds in here as well. I don't think I sowed them deliberately here, but I think they're self-seeded from before. And then we've got our pea bed. So I think these ones are meteor peas. These are sugar snap peas. These ones are just starting to become ready, so I don't know if you can see through the fencing. This one's nice and fat. There are some on there that are actually ready to harvest, so we're going to pick some of them. We have this netting on just to protect it from the pigeons because they are rather partial to a bit of a pea plant. And then these ones, I can't remember which variety these ones are, but I think they're proper peas, but they're sort of growing out the top of the netting, so I need to try and move that up somehow. But yeah, really pleased with the way our peas are going, and we have sown some more. And then as we keep going up here, some of these you've seen in previous videos. This is a brassica bed in here. So there is some purple sprouting broccoli, some normal broccoli, a couple of little cabbages, a bit of everything in there, but that's all looking really good as well. Really pleased with that. This is a weedy carrot, so there's some carrots there and the rest is weedy. So do need to pull some of them out because this is some of our beds are no dig beds. This one isn't, as you can see, lots of weeds. But then I have my arches here go over to this little bed, and what I've got is I've got some baby boo, some Jack be little and Jill be little pumpkins, which will grow over from both sides. So let's just nip over here because we're talking of pumpkins and squashes. These are I think these are butternut squash, these ones. I think that's a courgette over there, and then we've got the rest of this bed which will have more squashes in. And then I've got some, oh, there's my shadow there, see if I can get out of the way. These are giant pumpkins, so we've put them in there. The idea is that they grow this way. So this is it had loads of weeds on it, so it basically just looked like solid grass. So we've covered it over. we're not going to use it until next year, so we're just going to let the pumpkins grow and take over there. The bed also goes round the front there. We don't have a great success with anything in this bed. This is one of the first beds we ever dug, and I think the soil just wasn't very good, so what we put in there didn't really grow. Last year I had flowers in here, so I had big cosmos in there, which did look lovely. I'm not sure what we're going to put in there. I don't know if we might end up putting more pumpkins and squashes, because we do have a lot. Got this lovely apple tree here, which is I think this year is going to be a good year for fruit, because there are a lot of apples on here. We think this one is a cooking apple, but we're not sure. We didn't really get many apples off of it last year, and the year before we didn't get any either, because of the frost killed it all off the first year. And then in this little bed here I've got some chickpeas, so I don't know if you can see that one there. That's a chickpea, that's a weed, that's a chickpea. So not all of them have taken, but I did start some off in pots as well, just in case, and I need to pot them out in the gaps. I'm excited for these. I've never grown chickpeas before, and I'm assuming they just grow a bit like peas. So yeah, right, let's head on up on the rest of the plot. Going under the arches, we have this bed here on the left. We have, let me go around the other side, might be easier. So here, these are runner beans. I don't know what variety, I'm afraid. These are cannellini beans, which are grown from our saved seed, and hopefully we're going to do the same with the runner beans. And then here we've got ballotti beans. So the ballotti and the cannellini are sort of dwarf beans. And then what we've done is we've put out some tomato plants, partly because we've got so many tomato plants we don't know where to put them all, so we've figured in these gaps here are quite good. And then I've just put some marigolds in between as well, which I grew from seed, and they'll grow nice and, well, not nice and big, but they'll grow bigger and then have some nice flowers. I have put some calendula seed, there's one there, seeds in here, but it's this bloody stuff that comes up, there's loads of it. But there are a few starting to come up there, so hopefully they'll grow nice and big as well. Here we've got a couple of plum trees. There's not loads on this one. I've got a tree on the other plot that's got absolutely loads, but this one hasn't got as many, but there's a few. So there's 2 plum trees, and then we've got this small bed over here that we've just got some sort of sorry looking pumpkins. They're called Tahiti melon squash. So they look a bit like butternut squash, and they store really, really well, so that's why we're trying to grow these. We've put them in here to grow across the grass, because they vine out, so they can go over there and do what they want. But what these ones have done, which I'm a bit worried about, they've sort of split, but they still seem to be growing at this end, so I'm hoping that that's all right, but we will see. A couple of tomato plants in there, because again we're just trying to put them in everywhere. I can't remember what ones these ones were. These are, that one I can't pronounce, Kudibu. So they're quite like big tomatoes. And then a couple more of the Tahiti melon squash there, and then just a couple of marigolds. Again, I'm just trying to squeeze them out. This is a pear tree. I don't know what kind of pear tree it is. I think it might be a conference pear. We had a few pears on there last year, and then when we came down they'd all gone. I don't think they were eaten, because that would have been, you would have seen some kind of evidence of that. We think somebody took them, so we're hoping to actually get some and eat some off of here. There's quite a few, which is quite exciting. And then we've got this bed here. We've got some broad beans, which they have got a lot of aphids on, as you can see, but also they don't seem to be, there are some, there's some. Mum and Dad have got some of these that are grown from the same batch in their garden, and they've got loads of massive pods, but they just don't seem to have done so well here for some reason. But I've just noticed there are some coming through, so that's all good. And then over here, I put some more calendula around here. This is supposed to be my edamame beans, but yeah, nothing's grown. So I actually started some off in the greenhouse the other day. I think it's the bed. It just gets very, very dry, this one. So I started some off in the greenhouse. So hopefully they'll grow and I can transplant them out. And also I did buy a few from the garden centre as well. So we should have some edamame beans. I've got some more marigolds there, and then we've got strawberries. And I'm so excited. I've come down this morning to try and get my shadow out of the way. And we have some nice, lovely, bright red strawberries that are ready to pick. And again, this is what I say about good year for fruit. There are loads of strawberries growing on here. Some more red ones over there. And I've got some self-seeded, what's that, Nigella growing in here, because I had it in this pot, and obviously some of the, well, as you can see, some of it's coming up there, but some of the seeds must have come over here. There it is there. There must have been a seed head. It's that sort of, this wispy stuff gone in here. Oh, here, look. Yeah. So we have some nice Nigella growing up. So the strawberries go all the way around here. The ones here were ones we bought. The ones all up this bit and along the back bit are all from runners. So we saved all the runners. Some of them we trained to go that way anyway. Some we put into pots and then just planted them out. So the idea is that this whole bed will be strawberries. So by the time we fill that end, these ones would have done their sort of 3 years and be ready to pull out anyway. And then we'll just sort of come back again. And then over here, this was our brassica bed last year, so that's why the arches are on there. This is our sweet corn, which looks really good when we put it out, but it seems to be kind of a bit yellowy, the leaves, and we're not really sure why. Again, it might be dry, we don't know, so we'll see about that. And then we've got some squashes around here. I think these are sweet dumpling. Yeah, they're sweet dumpling. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that one's a courgette. And then I've just put some nasturtiums around the outside as well, to, you know, just because I had them. We've still got the rest of this bed to put bits in, so I'm not sure what we're going to put in there yet. I've got some climbing beans that are going to grow up here at this end, but the slugs ate them, so I've had to plant some more. There are some kohlrabi in here, but again, I think the slugs have eaten them, so I need to replace them. And then over here, oh, go on in. Is raspberries. So we do try and weed this, but it's just a nightmare. It's just so solid. But yeah, there's some raspberries there, and then some raspberries we transplanted over here that seem to be doing all right as well. And then here is another brassica bed. I'm really pleased with how things are looking in here. It needs a water, but the sort of rounded leaves. Let me see if I can get in. Coming in. So sort of the rounded leaves here, and then there's some over the back there are Brussels sprouts, and then the ones in the middle with the more sort of wiggly leaves are kaleets. So they grow similar. So they grow up tall, like a tall stem, I suppose. But yeah, hopefully we'll get some nice kaleets and Brussels sprouts. And then just over here, this is our sort of potting on table and stuff that is hardening off. We've got some sort of squashes there, a tomato which will stay there. This is our extras that a few of my friends who've got allotments, I say to them, if you want to come and take something from here, then just take it. There's a couple of patty pans and tomatoes that are spare. There's some kohlrabi as well, but it looks like that's sort of been eaten. But we've got some spinach and some Swiss chard here ready to plant out as well. Mum's just bought that from home. There's some what's that called, beetroot, some spare kohlrabi, which ours all got eaten, so I need to plant that out, but I need to make sure I slug proof it as best I can. I got this from Waitrose. This is a sweet potato plant. I'm so excited. I've wanted to grow sweet potato for a long time. It's my sun cream because it's quite sunny today. But yeah, I had a £3 off voucher as well from Waitrose, so it only cost me £1.50, even better. This is a basil that I've just bought from home that I'm just going to plant out here because I think it needs something better. Some more squashes there that I've just got out of the greenhouse just to sort of get used to being out here. They need a good water. I've got the greenhouse. I might do a separate video on what's in there because there is a lot in there at the moment. I've got this has got dahlia and some calendula and some larkspur and a little lupin, but there's peppers in there. There's, I don't know, there's lots. I might, as I say, need to do, but let me point out, actually no, I've got to show you my kiwi that I got the other day and my tayberry that I've got to find somewhere to plant. But the rest of it I might do in a different video because, as I say, there's quite a lot going on in there. Here we've got some more fruit trees. This one is a pear tree as well, which has never had any pears on it since we've had this allotment, but this year it has. And this one's an apple tree that had loads on last year, but this year it hasn't. It's funny. We're not tree experts, so we're not sure why, but there's a few, but just not loads. There's some wild strawberries there, I think they're called. There's a tomato plant there. It's a black Russian, so it should be a nice big sort of dark purple tomato. Look, there we go. Oh, exciting. Here we've got some, I think these are onions. I'm not sure which ones are onions, which ones are garlic, but I think they're onions. I put some beetroot in the middle here because last year it all got eaten by rats. I'm hoping when it's in between the onions they won't smell it as easily, and so far so good. I mean, it is just leafy at the moment. There's not many bulbs on it that I can see yet, but I might take some of these because obviously you can cut these off and you can eat the leaves. These are what they're called, shallots. So there's, I think this is what they're supposed to do, separate like that, so you end up with lots of different sort of bulbs. And then in this little bed, these are our new beds. I did do a video on them. They're all 3 no dig beds. This space was just grass before, so we made these little beds. These are onions, but again they've gone a bit weird. I don't really know why they've gone all skewy, like wiggly, but yeah, that's what they've done. And then here I've got this fennel here. We didn't realise fennel was perennial, so we put it in here last year and now it keeps coming back, but looking good. There's some leeks in here and some weeds, obviously. Some beetroot there that got absolutely eaten by slugs, so we've put the scouring pads around it and we think it's working because there's more whole leaves there now that weren't there before. And then these are red onions. I think they're red baron. Hang on, I've got a thing there. Nope, can't see it, it's come off. That we grew from seed, which we've not done before, but we thought we'd give it a go, and they seem to be doing all right. And then at the back here we've got some goji berries and honey berries. These were only planted in a couple of months ago. Don't expect to get any fruit off of them this year. Possibly next year we might, but they're all in these big pots. And then on this side of this little path I put some marigolds in there. I think my tayberry is either going to go here or I'm going to clear this bit and it's going to go there, because these are gooseberries, so then it will all be berries together. See, nice gooseberries coming on there. There's about 3 gooseberry bushes there. We did have more, but we took them out because, well, we didn't really want them and they were taken up. They've gone a bit funny, so we took them out. We've got another apple tree here, which again, this has never had any apples on in the time we've had this plot. So this is what I'm saying about this year being a good year for fruit. It's just looking good. There's not loads, but there's quite a few. And then this bed here is a new bed that I made. It's a no dig, so I've just put cardboard down, put the frame, filled it with compost, and in there we've got some blood spring onions and some spinach. I only sowed it the other day, so there's nothing there, but the blood spring onions I tried growing in the polytunnel and I think the mice ate the seeds, so we'll see how we go. We've got some garden mint in this pot here, and then this, I'm quite sad about this. This was all my Cavallonero kale that, as you can see, has been eaten by slugs. So we've got these bits of wood either side, and then every time we come, we just the slugs go under there in the morning, and then we just remove them. But I have also bought some sand that I'm going to put all the way around the outside before I plant any more kale in here. We have got some more, we've sown some more, it's growing indoors. But I am hopeful that some of this will, because I know that when you cut the leaves, it grows more from the inside. So I'm hoping that it will sort of make a little bit of a comeback, but we will see, because they obviously like this kale. And then this was some kohlrabi as well, which has been eaten by slugs. So I've got replacements for that. But as I say, I want to try and slug proof it the best we can. We've got some coffee grounds as well, which we can put on there. And hopefully that will stop them. And then this is up the back of our plot. So the fence goes all the way around and then comes across here, and then we just move this across. It's sort of our area where we keep everything. We don't grow anything here, but it's got all our piping, netting, etc. And then over here is our compost bins, which we are going to build another one, because as you can see, we've already filled this one. So in there we put any of our grass cuttings, weeds, we put newspaper, cardboard, like toilet roll tubes, kitchen waste, all of that gets brought down and put in here. We've got another one here, and then we really want to make loads of our own compost, because we spend quite a lot of money on compost, whereas if we can make our own, then it saves us a lot of money. So what we're doing is going to build another one over here, and possibly here as well. This was here when we came. I assume it's what they used to use to make a fire and stuff, but so the structure's sort of already there, so we can use that. And then we've just got this one as well that we use for compost as well. And then we have got one, a small one, I'll show you in a minute, on our other plot. So that's the first plot. That's the one that we've had for the longest. That's our original one. Now I'm going to take you on to our newer one, which we've had for about a year. We got last year. And I'll show you what we've got on this one. So this is the front of our other plot. We have this sort of like wooded bit here. So this is a plum tree, and as I say, there are loads and loads on this one. And look at all of them, it's so heavy. And then this one here is a green gauge. But again, there's lots on there. We didn't necessarily get loads last year. A lot of them had the moth things in them, but hopefully better this year. So this is just sort of like a wildish area. There's the odd raspberries growing up, and what I want to try and do, and I might be completely wrong in saying this because I'm not 100% sure of it, but hang on, let me turn the camera. So what I want to do is make it into like a food forest. So you just basically have lots of perennial things that just keep growing back, I think. As I say, I'm reading about it and I don't know. I haven't learned it all yet, but I'm hoping to do something like that here. And also just over here we might put in like a bee hotel. Mum's desperate for a bee hotel. We do have things like primroses growing here, and some snowdrops, which is really nice, and there is some like comfrey and stuff. But yeah, to try and make it into a food forest, I mean, I might be wrong, you might not even be able to do it in a forest, like in trees, but I think that's the idea of it. So we have other things that just sort of grow up on their own. We might put some more berry plants under here, but as I say, I'm trying to read about it and learn. So if anyone's got any advice on food forests and things like that, then let me know down below, because as I say, it's new to me and I'm trying to learn about it. But that's the plan so far for this area. And then this sort of bed here usually has loads of bulbs. It has like tulips, daffodils, hyacinths, I think they're called, and it looks really, really pretty. But we can't really grow flowers in there in the summer because of the shade of the trees. It literally doesn't get any sun at all. So we could look into something that would grow well in the shade and pop that in. As we go through here, this is a kind of cherry tree, but they were really, really they weren't very nice. So I don't know what kind of cherry tree it is, but there are cherries on there. And as we come through here, got my beautiful calendulas growing there that I put all in last year, and now they're self-seeded or overwintered, and they look absolutely stunning. We've got some tomatoes here again because we're trying to, I tell you what, I have to show you Mum's garden. I don't know how many tomato plants she's got, but there's loads. So these are all sort of just extras really. I've got some in my garden. Obviously it needs a good water. I haven't been down for a couple of days, so it needs to be watered. There is some odd bits of fennel that we've never planted, but just keep popping up. We've got some turnips and carrots and parsnips in here. You can sort of see the turnips through the middle, but the rest are weeds. So we just sort of leave the weeds until all the seeds have come up, and then sort of take them out. And what we also need to do is we barked in between these beds, but we didn't put any weed membrane down. So obviously the weeds are coming up. So what we're going to do is pull the weeds out, put some weed membrane down, and then put some more wood chip on it. But we haven't got around to that just yet. This bed has got chard in it that has sort of bolted, but you can still eat the leaves. And this was celery, which again is bolted, and some perpetual spinach, which is seeded. So what I'm going to do is leave it and see if I can use the seeds, and then a few more bits of perpetual spinach coming up there. Mum's popped in some beetroot in there that we sowed indoors, and then we have loads of poppies that just keep coming up. So some we leave and some we pull out because obviously they take up quite a lot of space. And then we've got some onions in here, which again have still gone a bit blah. These ones didn't do so well because the soil doesn't have as much compost in here as it does on the other one. I say it doesn't do so well, not as many of them, but it's actually got our biggest onions, which I know is not massive to some people, but that's good for us. We've got some tomatoes along here, all different varieties in there. So this one's one that's sort of supposed to trail. I think what we got, Crimson Crush. Oh, I don't know, I can't read it all. Oh, that's that Coeur de Boo again. We've got loads of them. No, I can't see the tags, but yeah, some more tomatoes there. And then on the other side to them beds over here, we've got our massive pallet bed. So I made this. These pallets were in my garden as pallet furniture, but we got something different, and we decided to, what can we use them for? So we decided to make a massive bed. Now this bed, it's not a big bed as in a lot of space, but it's deep. So at the bottom of there, it's got things like logs, sticks, then it's got things like leaves and grass cuttings, and then it's got all the spent compost from the pots that we used last year. So we had a lot of pots with tomatoes and peppers in, so all of that went in there. And then we've put in a couple of bags of well rotted manure, and then we've put in some compost. So it's not really high up, but it will do. So what we want to do is put in some more squash, because you know I do love a squash, and possibly things like some beetroot that we've got growing, maybe some spinach that we've got growing, some carrot seeds we could pop in there. We can just use it for lots of different things. So I'm excited to get that started. We only put the compost in the other day, so yeah, we haven't put anything in just yet. And then if I turn back around this way, we have our polytunnel. We've got some aubergines in here, some spring onions. This is where I sowed. So I sowed these spring onions, I sowed the blood red ones here, I sowed some radishes, which have all gone now, but they did well. And then the rest of it was beetroot. Well, look, that's my beetroot because the mice ate it all. So I was not impressed. They obviously don't like that particular spring onion, but they like the red one. So that's all I've got at the moment. This is quite dry, this bed. It gets very dry in here. But what I'm going to do, we can put some peppers. So up here, these are all chilies. These are just cayenne chili peppers. My razzmatazz are in the greenhouse, which I'll show you in a different video. We need to pull out all here. So we had all, there's what, I don't know if you can see it, like really this kind of netting with the big spaces, because what we had last year growing up there was melons. We're not growing melons this year, but what I might do is pop a couple of cucumbers, mini munch cucumbers, to grow up there once I've pulled all this bloody bindweed out, and a couple of pots there to grow. I've got some cucamelons which will grow up there as well. These are some spare tomatoes which are going to Mum's friend who's got a plot just down from us, and then I've got some more cayenne peppers in this here, and then we've got some potatoes. They are in big pots, so we like to grow some in pots. They're just starting to flower, if you can see that. I can't remember, I think we've got some Charlotte, oh, I don't know, you'd have to watch the video because I can't remember the other video where we sowed them all, because I can't remember what else it was. And then if we come through here, we've got a pond there that was here. We need to sort that out. Oh, that's our other compost bin. So like one of them composters that we've got on this bed, this plot. So we've got this bed here, which will have some squash. We've realised that this tree just keeps getting bigger and bigger. We don't know what it is. It's never grown anything on it. So we're going to try and trim it back so that this can actually get some sun, because the sun isn't on it at all. These are our potatoes that are in, oh, hang on. I think we've got Premier, Charlotte's, and something red, because we ordered red Duke of York, but they sent us something different. That's it, I think that's what it is. So we've got obviously a row here, a row here, a row here, with a couple of pots up the back with some more in. Some more random poppies that just pop up everywhere. This bed, this is just one massive bed. So we've got some broad beans here, and can you see all these potatoes? We did not sow them this year. They're all ones that we missed from last year, because this was a potato bed. I don't know how we missed a whole row of potatoes, but we've left them. We've not done any earthing up on them. We're just going to leave them. Once them broad beans come out, the squashes, there'll be more squashes in here, so we're just going to let it go and see what happens. Here we've got some more garlic. This is elephant garlic. It doesn't look very, it looks tall, but doesn't look very elephant-y to me. It doesn't look very big. And these are garlic as well, but we're not very good with garlic for some reason, or onions. Over here we've got some courgettes. This is a green bush. These are like I think they're called Lebanese something or other. Look, there you go, looking lovely. And I think there's another one here. There's some on there. And then we've got these are Tumbling Tom tomatoes. So obviously they tumble. Got lots of nice flowers on. Don't think there's any tomatoes just yet. We did grow these last year, but we started them a lot later than everything else, so they were nowhere near as much as this last year. We probably hadn't even started them at this time last year. Got some gladioli bulbs that are in there. The weeds from next door that keep coming over. And then the other side of the broad beans, we have got some patty pan squashes along the back, and then a row of yukikuri, which, oh no, one of them's gone all mouldy. We had two, so we've got this one still. But they're gonna, see, they're starting to grow all the way up there, and then we're gonna put some netting here, and hopefully they'll grow over this bit here. But yeah, they're starting to put on a bit of growth now, which is good, because I do love a yukikuri squash. And then up the back here, just our sort of seating area, shed over there, just some poles and some pots, and this is where we make our comfrey tea in there. So I think I've got a video coming up soon with that. And these big things here, I don't really know. I don't really know why they're there or what we're putting in them. I think pots, Mum said, just to store pots in. But we said this last year, we need to, ow, just got prickled. This needs to have some kind of weed membrane put down, and then bark or gravel or something. But it's something we just never seem to get round to do. because by the time we think about it, it's like this, and obviously there's other, you know, more fun things to do. So yeah, so that's my plot tour. So that's both of our plots. As I said, this one doesn't have as much growing on it. We've got quite a lot of space that still needs to be, you know, worked or changed into things. We've only had this one a year, whereas the other one we've had for 2 years. So the other one has had more done to it, whereas this one's still got quite a lot to do, but obviously we can only do so much. But yeah, that's the plot tour done. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one.